Good morning. We are on chapter 8, The Elf Child and the Minister. And based on what we've been studying so far with Hester's situation and the situation of Puritan America in the 1600s, we have a very stunning chapter here that we are gonna. What I've done is I've done some highlighting. The color schemes are a little bit important. So you read this last night, and the notes you were assigned to take and the questions you answered had a lot to do with what we're about to talk about. So what I have here is, so we have a woman, right, who's been ostracized by society, has been pushed to the woods, literally, and she has this child who is bullied, and everyone knows that basically the two of them are, essentially criminals in their society because of Hester's scarlet letter. So now where she goes to Governor Bellingham's home to defend her right to parent Pearl. There's been rumors about Pearl's behavior, and obviously, considering the thinking of those in power, they believe that she's an unfit mother, and so we go right away and we see the ones I did here in this kind of purple and red awkward looking color is these are about the men who show up, right, or who are there when she shows up. So she sees Governor Bellingham and John Wilson. Basically, this whole paragraph here, there was a question last night about hypocrisy and about how we live in a time where people are suffering, but this man lives in this mansion, right? So we'll talk about that hypocrisy during class today after this video. Then we see John Wilson, who is a kindly man, but he also was at the pulpit is at the pulpit near in Hester's church, as well as at her public reproof, which is basically her punishment in chapter 2, and he is part of that punishing crowd. And then finally Dimsdale, who is her who took a part in the scene of Hester's disgrace. Once again, that's her minister we know about from chapter 2, and he was there. And then finally her ex-husband, right? Well, I guess not her ex-husband, but her husband, who is now there under the disguise as the town's doctor, right? And who's taking care of Dimsdale. So essentially now you have a woman walking in, a woman who's been ostracized by society, a woman who is subordinate to men in society naturally in the 1600s, right, and throughout history, and she's walking into a room where her basically her vengeful husband and then these three theocratic leaders are there to decide her fate, right? So we have that all in purple. And then here, they even have they question her daughter, and they question her relationship with her daughter, and there'll be some questions on this as you see. And finally, they come out and say, "How can you actually be the one to take care of Pearl?" And I have in yellow, I've switched over to that she actually uses the scarlet. Well, I think kind of wisely. I love this part. She uses the scarlet letter as proof of the fact that she can take care of her child. She's walking around with a punishment, almost like she knows what it's like to be able to have this opinion of her daughter and be able to teach her not to be like her, right? So it's a pretty good defense there. And then moving on throughout the chapter, and finally, we have Pearl's opinion here, and they ask Pearl why who is her father, right, which is this great mystery of the novel. And the child finally announced that she had not been made at all, but had been plucked by her mother off the bush of wild roses that grew by the prison door. So obviously this is a blasphemous statement to not say that you basically, they tried to get the answer out of her because they do want to know who her earthly father is. Secondly, her father could be some sort of could be God, or that she could have given that answer too, but she gives this wild rosebush answer, which obviously is extremely provocative at the time, and something we're going to study in the third section of our reading of this novel. And then finally, again, here we have this Hester's defense of why she has been taught and why she needs more guidance, and what this is doing for her. All right, so there's really the chapter. And so combining the questions I'm going to ask throughout, or I've been asking throughout this Ed Pelso video, combining your questions from last night and the work we're going to do next. There was a really, really good rundown of the situation. I just want you to feel and know Hester's situation and how this how the power struggle here works against her.